Ground podcast. Today we are diving into Attack of the Clones. As per usual, I have a bunch of awesome guests. Rounded up a bunch of people whose favorite Star Wars film is Attack of the Clones, and we're going to dive into it. And just have a lot of fun hanging out with everyone and in the chat and my awesome panel right here on the high ground. Hello, beautiful people. Amazing group here. I'm excited because this is kind of like my second time around the horn. So I have an episode on Attack of the Clones from 2 years ago, and we'll see if y'all can top that one because that was Connor Fahey. That was the first time I spoke to Miss Aggie. Was that episode? And I think JCav maybe, but awesome times, but better times ahead because y'all are great. I'm going to go around and have y'all introduce yourself. So say who you are, where we can find your awesome content. And since this is the film that, launched 1,000 love stories with Anadala, I had to ask if you could ship any two Star Wars characters together, any era, right? So you can match up people who would never normally get a chance to meet one another. Who would you pick? And also, everyone in the chat, let me know who you would pick as well. But I'll go to Brooke first.
Hi. I am Brooke. My username that I put here is actually wrong now. I forgot to change it. But you can find me on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram _BDazzler_. Twitch sometimes is B__Dazzler. I am doing a Knights of the Old Republic playthrough. It's my first time right now. And you can find my Etsy shop, Far Far Away Factory, soon to be farfarawayfactory.com.
Ooh.
Okay.
New website.
If I had to pick a ship, I've been wanting to talk about this, but I don't know who to talk about it to. So it's kind of a cop-out because they're from the same time period. But ever since I played that one mission in Battlefront 2, I've shipped Luke and Del together. More than I shipped Del and Iden.
Luke and Del Miko?
Yeah.
That is a great episode. And they do have a lot of chemistry.
Right? Yeah.
Damn. Never even thought about it that way. Mostly because I was always thinking about just, the implications of them being like, how come Palpatine has a storehouse that you have to have the Force to open? I don't know. Right. But no, interesting. I love it. Great one. Yep. How about you, Kels?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Kels. You can find me on TikTok at Discount Sansa Stark, and you can also find my podcast at The Queer Ascendancy, with my co-host Becca. We don't post every week, but it's fine. We're really bad at actually having a set schedule, but it's fine. Okay, I've been thinking about this question for this hour. Well, Julia did bring up Luke and Ezra recently, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it, especially because they are the same age, and the twin suns and the twin moons, it just works.
Twin suns and twin moons.
So I'm gonna go with that one. Plus, they're both gay, so.
I love. Also, definitely check out their podcast, Queer Ascendancy. You said I've had Becca on before as well.
Yes, you have.
Awesome people. Great energy. Much chaos. It's great. I want to also shout out to Paul. Thank you so much for the $5 ramen drop. I always appreciate you. He's the unofficial channel sponsor, but we love it here. It's your guys' support that keeps me going. It keeps me doing this every single week, and we're coming up on 2 years. That's crazy. Woo. Anyways, last but not least, we got Jay Windu. How you doing, man?
Yeah. Yeah. Hi, nice to meet y'all. I'm Jay. I'm on TikTok at Jay Windu. I post Star Wars content. I only really post on TikTok. I haven't posted in a minute though. But I think if I could ship anybody together, it's like basic, but it will probably be Ezra and Sabine. Cause like I felt like I love Rebels so much and they had like so much good chemistry together. And I was like I was a little bit mad that they didn't get together at the end of end of the show, but like I would ship them together. And like man, that's a Mandalorian and a Jedi. Like, just think about it. That's an amazing backstory, you know. So I would ship them together.
That'd be very sweet. I
Yeah.
love it. Um, yeah, and for me, I had something and it completely slipped my mind, and is completely gone. And so like I've been trying to like work it back as you guys have all been talking. So I'm gonna do a cop out and say I'm shipping Lena Sove, the High Republic.
And Stellan Geos?
I
I just
mean,
jumped on that. I don't know.
no, that's I was trying to do different eras, but I'm gonna ship her with,
I mean,
Bail Organa.
that
think
works
they're
too. I
both-
like that
Oh.
one.
They're both
Yeah.
like pure and honest, and like there'd be so much respect and power in that relationship. Like you don't know the power. Like I know, I think they'd be sweet. But yeah, no, I
Yeah.
do low key ship her and Stellan. Like I just picture.
Yeah.
I've already said it before that my headcanon is that is that Padme grew up with the picture of Stellan holding her body like on the wall,
Yeah. Oh my
and has
God.
Lena So's like memoirs under her pillow, and she reads them every night. That's canon now.
It
Just
is.
made it.
It is canon.
But yeah, let's jump into it. So, Attack of the Clones. Gotta add like what this, y'all love this. This is a favorite or at least top two Star Wars films for you. What was your experience seeing it for the first time, and like, do you have like, and what memories you have associated with it, just in general? And I guess I'll go to Kels first.
So I first watched it when I was 9. So my first experience with Star Wars was going to see the Clone Wars movie when it came out in theaters in 2008. And then me and my dad went back to watch everything else. We watched the originals and I enjoyed them. And then we watched The Phantom Menace and I really enjoyed it. And then we watched Attack of the Clones. And that was the first movie I actually like officially attached to and got really, really excited about. Like, if I could go back and relive 9-year-old me watching that Battle of Geonosis with all of the Jedi just coming in to save them, because that's the first time in the whole saga you actually see like more than just like 2 Jedi at once, and it's a bunch of them, and then all the clones coming in. It was just
Yeah.
so exciting. I was just like so hyped and just like sitting on the edge of my seat with my stuffed animal, just like watching and just wanting, and was just so involved. And it was, plus I really loved Padme and Anakin and all that, and just yeah. And I haven't felt that much excitement about Star Wars since, really. So I mean, I still love Star Wars, but that's like the most excited I've ever been about it at once. So
I love it. Also, real quick, I'll go back, and because we actually had some ships in the chat. So
I saw
we
Din
get
Cobb.
Din Cobb from our,
Yeah, I
our,
saw
our
Din
guy
Cobb.
Connor Fahey. L3 and HK. That's horrifying. Thanks
chaotic.
for
God.
my new nightmare, Cal. I appreciate that. Also, what's up to Jedi Scum? He said this is the first time being able to catch us live, so that's awesome. Appreciate you. Silver Glass is also jumping on that ship as well. Master Binks is saying Padme and Zam Wessel. Camilla is saying sexy people stand Attack of the Clones. That's
so
true.
true, Camilla.
Facts.
So true.
I've been saying all along that the coolest people are the ones whose favorite movies Attack the Clones, because
We're
they've
so
been through
good.
enough, you know? Because leave them alone.
Yeah.
But yeah, here. And now we're getting polycules with L3, HK, and 000. That's
no.
Oh no.
mm. BT and Chopper. Okay, all right, y'all wilding out there. But yeah, how about you, Jay? What was it like seeing it for the first time?
So yeah, I was like around like 4 or 5 when my mom like just we watched 1 through 6 in like one day, and like I remember like Attack of the Clones like stuck to me the most. Like Kels was saying, like that the Battle of Geonosis scene, like when all the Jedi and the clones come in, like that was like amazing. That, and then also seeing like Yoda
Mhm.
fight for the first time, like that was amazing. And yeah, I just love that so much. And then like a memory that like sticks to me is like I remember the day after I watched all the Star Wars movies. My dad, like, he took me to GameStop, and like I bought like the Lego Star Wars Clone Wars game, and the opening scene was the Battle of Geonosis, and that just made me love the scene even more, and just just nostalgia, you know.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Like this is the movie that like sparked it. Like the Phantom Menace to me like started the prequels, but like it was so far removed and such like a non sequitur of a film. And I love it,
Mm.
but like this was it. This was the start of what makes Star Wars to me.
Yeah.
How about you, Brooke?
Okay, so I watched the Star Wars movies, like the trilogies, out of order. The Phantom Menace, I remember watching when I was really little, and I had like a Jar Jar Binks McDonald's toy that I loved. But I didn't have any strong attachments to Star Wars until I saw The Last Jedi in theaters. But I had seen the originals, so I'd watched the originals, the sequels, or what was out of the sequels, and then I watched the prequels last. So the first time I watched the prequels, like in its entirety at least, was probably like right after The Last Jedi had come out. And I didn't have any strong feelings towards them. Um, but then once I got on Star Wars TikTok, I will credit this to Victoria Vader. It's Victoria, y'all. This is probably, God, like 2-ish years ago now, I guess. They were the first person, because they talk about Darth Vader all the time, but they were one of the first people that I heard talk about Anakin's dialogue and how it made a lot of sense. And I'm sure we'll talk about that. And so I wanted to go back and watch Attack of the Clones, and I was like, saw it in a whole new light, and I was like, oh. And I guess I had like watched it at just like a time where I was like, struggling a bit, so it became like a comfort movie, and now I just watch it all the time. It's one of those fun ones that you can put on in the background, and like you don't really have to pay too much attention to, but you can if you want to. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Like it no, just like you said, and of course, like I said, we are going to get more into each section of it so we can talk about that dialogue. But as cringy as it is, it needs to be. It's supposed to. It's got to be.
Yeah.
Like, what do you expect him to say? He's never even talked to a woman before.
Exactly.
Like,
How's he supposed to be good at flirting? It's not like Anakin, not like Obi-Wan showed him. Like,
Yeah.
No.
in fact, I actually thought he was being smooth, all things considered. Like saying I don't like sand is a nicer way of saying, oh yeah, you were born into wealth and privilege in this beautiful place, and I was a slave on a desert planet.
he could have been a lot meaner about it.
Yeah.
Like it would have affected the mood, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
Just saying. All right, so where does it rank for all you guys? And where does it rank, and how do you feel about the fan criticism? I know I was just kind of talking about that. If you could change anything to it, what would you change? Anyone can go first.
Personally, like it's tied for me. It's tied with Return of the Jedi. Like obviously I know like it's not a good quality film, but in terms of like favoritism, it's definitely my favorite with Return of the Jedi. But what was I gonna say? But with the fans, like for the longest time, I didn't know Attack of the Clones was like hated up until I got on TikTok. Like I was just like walking around thinking like, oh, Attack of the Clones like in everybody's top 3. But like once I started posting like content, I posted my ranking, and I was like, I put like I think Attack of the Clones at 3, and like I saw all these comments saying like, "What? Attack of the Clones at 3? That's super high." And then like once I like what's it called? Like interact with more people, I like started to see why Attack of the Clones was a lot lower on people's lists, and I started understanding and everything. Because like at first I didn't, the dialogue didn't really bother me that much. Like obviously like I knew it was bad, but like it just didn't bother me that much. But yeah, I guess like ever since interacting with people, it did like get a little bit worse, but I still love it, you know.
Yeah.
I still have it up there.
And nothing wrong with that. Or two things we fully respect is changing your opinion because we all grow and change and evolve. And B, also ignoring what the hell anyone else says and saying, I love this.
Mhm.
It don't matter.
Yeah.
Both of those are very, very valid.
Yeah.
So, yeah. How about you, Brooke?
I would say it's like second or third for me, depending on the day. Sometimes first. I don't know. It's like in the top 3. I feel like my top 3 kind of changes around now a lot more than it used to. Because I weigh rewatchability very heavily when I rank my movies. And I've had The Last Jedi as my favorite movie for the longest time. But if you really think about it, it's kind of hard to rewatch a lot because there's so much like thinking involved when you're watching it. And that's why I love Attack of the Clones, because it's kind of one of those ones that you can just like sit down and just like vibe, and you know, you can share that the brain cells that Anakin and Obi-Wan collectively have while watching. And it's just a good time.
No, that's true. That's why I love getting people's ranking and asking them why and like how like formulate that. Because you're absolutely right. Like I love The Last Jedi. It is not a toss it on while I'm washing the dishes type of movie. Can't do that, you know. I will not like wash any dishes, and I will end up sad. So like you know, like you gotta calibrate them. And your thoughts on it, Kels?
Okay, that's probably why I didn't like The Last Jedi for so long, though, because it took a lot of brain power, and I just didn't want to put brain power into it. But now that I have, I do like it now. Yeah, Attack of the Clones is number 1 for me. It's always been number 1 for me. I didn't realize people hated it until high school when I was bullied for liking it. So then I started saying Revenge of the Sith was my favorite, because that was still when the fanboys hated Revenge of the Sith. That was in that weird time when like they still just didn't like it yet, and then they just one day decided to switch it around and said that they loved it, and that was weird. And then it was kind of being on it was like, I don't know when it became like everyone's favorite. Like it just kind of happened overnight. But yeah. But then I got on TikTok, and then I started like seeing how everyone talked about Attack of the Clones, and I realized that wait, this is my favorite movie. I'm just gonna say it's my favorite movie now. I don't care. And then I've been doing that the past year.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. I love how I have a comic book OD says needs more
so
mullet
true.
action.
Absolutely. I need to change my name back to Obi-Wan's mullet.
Now that Book of Boba Fett is over.
I hope that guy knows that his character is just so beloved. He's just Death Stick guy, but we all talk about him. Like,
you know, he really should have been, in hindsight, he really should have been on my top 7 non-Force user favorite character.
Death Stick guy.
I think he just got an honorable mention in mine.
Right?
Facts.
Solely because of his name. What is it, like? Sleaze Baggins? What is it?
Sleaze Bagano.
Yeah.
Sleaze Bagano. I really, really want a show that's just a parody of Suits. And it's Obi-Wan told him to clean up his life, and he does, and then he ends up like at Coruscant's law school, and he like
oh my god,
like, it's just the same show.
That was like Obi-Wan having his like Jesus moment where he's saving people just out in the
wild. Okay, so I do, when it comes to Obi-Wan's look, I mean, first of all, he does pull off the mullet more than any
It's his
human
best
I've
look.
ever
I'm
seen.
gonna say it.
Facts.
It's his best look.
But
That's a beautiful man.
I'm sorry, his best look is the 2D animated look. He looks like a lion that's sexy somehow. He looks like a young Mufasa. But I laugh because partway through filming, he filmed something else, and so he has a fake beard and mustache in half of the movie.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like sometimes you're like,
You can
what's
notice
going
it.
on with your face? You know, but it's still great. Like mullet Obi-Wan during Battle of Geonosis is a whole vibe.
Truly
This is
is.
true.
So true, Camilla. So true.
Okay. All right. I mean, let's just jump into it. You know, I went ahead and I separated it into 3 parts because I don't want to miss anything. I'm trying to refrain from singing "Don't Want to Miss a Thing" by Aerosmith. I sing often whenever I say things. But all right. The movie opens. We're gonna talk about the first act of it. So kind of from the movie opening until Obi-Wan lands on Kamino. Anakin and Padme were walking around Naboo, but that's when she was like talking down to him. That's before the lake part. What jumps out at you guys about this opening scene?
I will say, after seeing Book of Boba Fett and going back and watching this movie, makes me really happy from like all the references that we got from that show, especially like one of the first shots in the movie is like the Naboo starfighters, and I was like, oh my god, we just saw those.
Oh yeah, poor Corday.
Yeah, after reading Queen Shadow and getting attached to Corday, I now
That
cry.
too.
I
have that in my
"Great,
notes.
I'm now attached to Corday and Dorme. They're in this movie all of like 5 seconds, but I'm
Yeah, when
attached to
Dorme
them.
like tears up when she's like being set, I was like, this never hit me before. Now it does.
Yeah, and so for anyone in the chat, I highly recommend E.K. Johnston's Padme books, Queen's Shadow and Queen's Peril, and we have Queen's Hope that is coming out very, very soon, and I'm very excited. Sadly, I did not get an early peek at this one. I even thought about having Camilla on this episode, but I'm like, nah, she knows too much.
Spill all the secrets.
I can't wait to read it.
Yeah,
I mean, E.K. Johnston did confirm that Anakin is demisexual to me, so that is a thing.
I
love it.
And someone else brought it up in the chat a little bit earlier. One of the other reasons for Anakin's dialogue is likely he's been practicing to have that conversation with Padme if he ever saw her again.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like a little 12-year-old, like, okay, when I see her again. Last time I hit her with, "Are you an angel?" This time,
I gotta top that. Let's go.
Oh my god, yeah. I love seeing them in the elevator for the first time after like this is really their first interaction. We see Obi-Wan and Anakin, and like you can immediately tell what their relationship is kind of like. And I love that Anakin's just like so nervous, and Obi-Wan's basically like, "Anakin, you're sweating like a whore in church. Like, you good, bro?" But I don't know. It's interesting to see, and then have them go from like father figure to more like brothers through the Clone Wars. And I just love that they just collectively, when they're together, at least they just share like 2.5 brain cells. That whole like the chase scene is like probably one of my favorite moments in Star Wars ever. It's just so ridiculous. Everything about it. Especially like Anakin jumps out of the speeder and Obi-Wan's like, "I hate it when he does that." And I'm like, you just did that. You just
Wait, I never
jumped
realized
out
that.
a window, broke through the glass onto this tiny little droid. What do you think your Padawan is gonna do when he sees you do that?
And you left Anakin behind to just figure things out while he's clearly not in a good mental state, as you've been talking about this right before. Like,
it's
communication.
Literally so ridiculous. I love it.
Yeah, it's there's a bunch of stuff in the opening that just always makes me smile. I mean, I talk about it all the time. but I'm gonna do it again. Dex's Diner. I love Dex
I
so
love
much.
Dex.
He's a goat.
I love
Dex.
like George Lucas is a madman. He's like, you know what we're gonna put in the middle of Coruscant? A 50s themed diner. Like, hell yeah. And I still say I want a Dex's Diner TV show where it's kind of like
Sitcom.
Cheers, but he's
Sitcom.
also like protecting the neighborhood from like gangs and stuff because he has a badass past. He can look at a dart and like identify its location and portal. Like he's seen some crap. And so he's also in the witness protection program, and I want it to leak out who he is, and that he's got to like fight people off.
That'd be so cool.
That's what we need, Like it ends up with him getting armored up, and he looks like young 50 Cent, and he's like he comes out strapped up. Like I don't know, I need it. I love him so much.
The only thing I have in my notes for that section is, why does Obi-Wan have sexual tension with everyone?
Literally everyone.
Everyone he ever
Twice.
has a scene with, including Dex. Like, I want someone to look at me the way that Obi-Wan looks at Dex.
What's funny though is it's like with him and Dex, it's like that warm tension of like something's happened, and then later he's with Django, and it's like that awkward like,
Oh my god.
what happened? Like,
Yeah, that too.
Well, what? Anyone else have anything about this the opening section?
I also just love in that chase scene where like it's basically just it's almost like a father and his 16-year-old son that just got his license. Like that's the entire vibe while they're
Oh my god.
driving.
One of my favorite quotes is like when they're like diving.
Anakin's
just laughing. But when he picks up Obi-Wan after he's like falling to his death, he's like, what took you so long? And he's like, oh, sorry, master. I couldn't find a speeder that I liked, with the right speed capabilities, open top. Like, I don't know why, but just cracks me. The delivery of his lines were so funny there.
I need a Padawan Anakin novel of like that era. Because there isn't a canon novel of like his Padawan years with Obi-Wan.
Well, we are getting
Master.
Brotherhood,
which
be
is
kind
right
of
after,
right
though.
after, but it'll
Like
hopefully
between
maybe we'll
Phantom
see him.
Menace.
Maybe we'll actually see him get knighted in that book.
We're supposed to see him get
hoping.
knighted in Brotherhood.
Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna cry.
That'd be
It's
cool.
fine.
Chris in the chat, Star Wars Lawyer, had the best pitch for that book. For it to be like a sequel to Master and Apprentice,
Yes.
and to have them run into Pax and Rahara again years later,
Oh,
and have
Yes.
Rahara talking to Anakin about their shared trauma as being slaves and stuff, and
Get Claudia Gray on this one.
and you would have last time they were there. They didn't know Qui-Gon died, and they always just thought Obi-Wan was this kid with a goofy hair. You know what I mean? And hopefully Pax is somewhat human at that point in time. But yeah, that's kind of what I would love to see.
Yes, I need that so badly.
Before we move to the next section, I gotta ask, what do you think about the overall assassination plot?
I don't hate it. Like, honestly, I don't mind it. I think it's hilarious how they're going around. I didn't realize people hated it until I joined the internet.
it's funny. It has like it birthed one of my favorite videos. I don't know who the original is, but I've seen it on TikTok. I've seen it on YouTube. But it's like this guy is saying like, all right, so Dooku wants Padme killed, but he doesn't want to do it himself. So he hires Jango Fett, but he doesn't want to do it himself. So he hires someone else, Zam Wessel, but she doesn't want to do it herself. And then it's just so funny. He's like, so Dooku gets a bounty hunter, another bounty hunter gets a robot, gets some bugs to go kill Padme.
It just shows that she's so hard to kill. She's just that they have to have this elaborate plan to try and kill her because she's just so good at avoiding death.
Well, I mean, as a good friend of the channel, Shayla Wren calculated last year, Padme is built different.
She
I remember that. That was a good video.
Exactly
Oh my god.
Yeah, all right. So jumping forward into the middle section. So we have also I do have to say I love seeing in the previous section, we get Anakin's first and middle of like, I feel like Obi-Wan's holding me back and all this stuff. Like we get that tension. But I love the verbal bitch slap that Padme gives him when they're walking around Naboo, and Anakin's like, you know what, this is what we should be doing. And then she's like, who are you again?
Yeah.
She's like, sit down, son.
Sit down.
Oh, it's so funny.
Like, he's a Jedi. He's not a Jedi. He's a Padawan. And he'll just like she slaps him down, and I just
Yeah. Oh, I did have one more note about the whole chase, not the chase thing, but I love in the room where Padme had like turned her cameras off and Obi-Wan's like, what? Like, you're using her as bait? And Anakin's like, it was her idea. And I feel like that tells you a lot about Padme, and I think people overlook that. Why? Because I know a lot of everyone is always like, why does Padme even go for Anakin? Why does she even like him? And it's like, well, they share that kind of like little bit of recklessness when it comes to, doing what they think is right. And so they do have a lot more in common, I think, than we really give them credit for.
Yeah, that's true. She's never been one to shy away from danger, or Grease Grab in the chat. Padme avoids 1,000 assassination attempts only to die to sadness. Emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
Yeah,
That was the worst day of her life, though. Let's be real. She just watched this she literally watched her entire republic die. Then her husband attacked her. That's just a lot emotionally.
Yeah, no, I feel it. Like, but we'll get to that in another podcast episode. But that type of thing definitely is what made Anakin love Padme more. Of someone who was willing to jump into the thick of it with him. Yeah, I don't know, she was awesome. Also, at the end of this, people in the chat, if I'll get your opinions, but this is towards the end of the podcast. We're going to talk about what the best Padme outfit was in this whole thing. So, got to hear your thoughts when we get there. Anyways, we get to the middle of it. This is when Obi-Wan lands on Geonosis and walks through and just has utterly no clue what's happening at any point of the time, and is very poorly like fumbling his way through the conversation. That's why I'm here.
It's so funny.
Wait,
and
then Geonosis?
Sorry, go ahead.
Did you mean Camino? Instead of
Camino.
Geonosis?
Did I say Geonosis?
Yeah,
Okay,
you
my
did.
bad. Yeah.
I got you.
Talking about Camino. You know what I was thinking. That's more important.
Yeah, I got you.
Gotcha.
But this is also when Anakin and Padme get to the lake house, and we get all of that good stuff in there, and we'll run that all the way until they go to Geonosis. What jumps out at y'all?
First time seeing the clones, that was amazing. I love that so much. Like, as a kid, and the theme song for the clones, I'm like, perfect, perfection, And then Jango Fett, Boba Fett, young Boba Fett, like
young Daniel Logan.
I love Daniel Logan so much. Oh my gosh.
It's cool that they brought him back to do the voice for Boba in the Clone Wars too.
Yeah.
Awesome. I was hoping that like he would get like a cameo in the Book of Boba Fett or something, but I guess not.
Who knows though? Maybe at some point in time, I'm also gonna put on a little bit of background music here. If at some point in time we get like, not that we need it, but like a Boba Fett show that's him in his prime doing missions, and maybe we can get Daniel Logan in on that one.
That could be really cool.
Yeah.
Fun fact: if you can find a video of it's Tamora, and then the actor that's like the younger version of Jango.
Oh yeah.
That's like seen for a quick second in like the red kind of garb, and they're like at the cafeteria type thing.
Yeah.
You can see them, and then the guy who plays Typho. They're all Kiwi actors, and there's a video of them all doing a haka together.
Oh,
You can find it
that's
on
cool.
YouTube somewhere. It's super cool. I remember I think you can even go back and watch there's like an interview with the three of them that they did through some sort of like New Zealand talk show. And I thought it was really cool because they filmed the movie in Australia. So it was cool that they brought in like more local actors.
Yeah. And for everyone out there, Captain Typho is different than Captain Panaka.
Yes, he is.
I don't know how many times I've told people that.
Oh,
They don't
no.
look the same, and one has an eye patch. Like, you would think. Anyways.
One is significantly older than the other one, too. Read the Padme books. Jeez.
Yeah, you get to meet
Yeah,
both Captains Panaka.
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, what else jumps out at you guys? Because not only do we have all the stuff on Camino, and the first iteration of the dubstep bomb, but that also gives us all of Tatooine and Anakin.
Ah,
Oh my gosh.
So many
oh
things.
yeah. Oh my gosh.
That was
yeah.
like the first time we got to see like Anakin tap into like the foreshadowing of Darth Vader, like that darkness, like just him like slaughtering all those kids and like his anger after, like that was
Oh, the way that the music changes from
Mhm.
yeah.
right after Shmi dies, and he just like looks up, and it's like that
Oh,
spooky
Yeah.
music. I was like,
Didn't-
this is so good,
Yeah.
so good.
anytime, anytime anyone says Hayden's a bad actor, they need to watch that scene. It's so
Facts.
good.
I don't remember
Ugh.
who said this, but someone said that you should watch the episodes 2 and 3 on mute, and I mean, I don't think his dialogue is that bad, like the way his line delivery is that bad, but like if you have a problem with it, just watch it on mute, and his facial acting is top notch, especially in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think his like line dialogue is that bad. Like it feels choppy and like sometimes kind of like stiff, but I feel like it's supposed to. Because Anakin just has
Yeah.
so much going on in his head, and he has so much emotions, and he's constantly dealing with all this stuff, and like he just comes out monotone because he doesn't know what he's doing, and he's just like trying to like come off as a human, but there's so much going on, he doesn't know what to do, and it like it's not. I think he did it perfectly. People are just mean. Like,
Yeah, I've seen so many people like
mean.
making fun of his face. I'm like, that's
Like-
acting, you know? Like you
Yeah.
expect him to look pretty. Like
Exactly. Like, you're supposed to look pretty while I'm like angry at people. Like,
Yeah. I think a lot of it has to do with the editing too, at least between like the Padme and Anakin scenes, because we're getting these like little snippets of their time on Naboo, and so it feels a little bit disjointed. Like I especially notice it when they go from their like the little dinner scene where he like force moves the pear or whatever it is, and then it immediately like cuts to them like in this dark room with the fireplace on. There was like no transition in between. It's like, all right, how did we get to this point? How did we get to
Yeah.
this like romantic setting?
Yeah.
But
we're talking about really deep stuff. How'd we get here?
right, I think that like if there was a little bit more of an actual transition between that, then it would have not been as clunky feeling, at least in that instance. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And there's also something to be said about the deleted scenes, like Anakin meeting the
Yeah.
rest of the Nabaris, and like but you get to see, because I know growing up I felt it was very sudden that she all of a sudden liked him, and I was like, the heck. And then I like grew up and understood, oh yeah, both can be true. you can have a vaguely antagonistic relationship and still like each other. That's a fully regular thing. But more than that, like they just kind of have this like tit for tat, like back and forth thing where you'll see it being sweet and gentle.
the whole like meadow scene is some of my favorite Star Wars, and they really do have chemistry together,
Yeah.
especially you see those scenes. Like I smile every time Anakin like falls off that hippo thing, and Padme like runs over to make sure he's okay, and he's just like laughing. Just seeing him like genuinely happy makes me smile every time.
Yeah.
And then just them rolling in the grass, and then the jump cut to Kenobi just getting his butt kicked. It's so funny.
Oh my god, I forgot it. That fight's good too. I loved
That
all the
is a
behind
really
the
good fight.
scenes, the behind the scenes stuff. I'm sad that they didn't keep the kiss in.
Yeah.
The Obi-Wan Jango kiss.
Yeah.
That's canon to me.
Because Kenobi has chemistry with everyone.
Literally. I made a whole TikTok like a long time ago about how Obi-Wan and Jango were just like eye effing each other that whole
They are.
scene.
And that's what leads to Cody Wan later on.
Fair.
that just got super weird for me. I'm like, oh no, you just look like him. That's cool. Good enough, you know. Like, I don't know, it feels uncomfy. Oh no, that I also love the metal scene because we also got some foreshadowing, in my opinion, to stuff that was just deep inside of Anakin, has always been. But when he's talking about politics, he's like, well, then they should be made to understand. By who?
Yeah.
By you know, and he's like, no, I'm just kidding. And you're like,
Are you?
was he though? I don't know. I also
feel like part of that. No, I do feel like part of that is though because he was raised as a slave though. So like his first part of his life is you were told to do something, you go do it, you don't question it. And so I think he just kind of carried that mentality for the rest of his life unknowingly, because that's just what his childhood developing brain was. Like that was just his life. So I don't know.
If you don't do it, kaboom.
Yeah,
That's really sad.
I know.
Yeah.
Have a little kid being like, yeah, they just blow us up. Like, oh.
That was just like, what?
But yeah, I really love that. Not love it, but the scene where, you know, we see Anakin, his dark side coming out, and it's put in a way where we can feel for him. And I think they did that too well because now people justify it.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't until and so now when Book of Boba Fett came out, you saw that article that was like, oh
my god,
this makes me feel weird about what Anakin did to the Tuscans. You're like,
Like,
Yes.
you didn't feel
You
weird
didn't
when it
pick that
happened? Like,
Right.
we call that the ick.
it was weird.
But it's really interesting to see that, especially how we saw the exact opposite in Book of Boba Fett, where Boba is carrying the body of a Tusken after that. It was just, I don't know, it hits you hard. Now we also have to remember that these movies are made for families and for young kids to consume, so they're not going to push it too far, you know. So they aren't going to show us what's underneath the masks of the Tuscans when he's, or physically showing him take out the women and the children, because that would be too much. But
Yeah.
you know, also, so for the people here, I want to make it clear that I fully support, you know, Padme for loving Anakin regardless of his flaws. How do you guys take that scene? Because I do think it's important to talk. I used to joke about it, but I realized by joking about it, there was a lot of really weird people that would try to join in on the joke, and you're like, no, man, I'm not the same. But yeah, how do you guys think about how Padme handled Anakin's confession to her?
I mean, this was like before. I would say this is before that she necessarily had like feelings for Anakin. That didn't come until a little bit later. So I think in that and I feel like we had seen some quote unquote, I guess, red flags that Anakin had been showing throughout, like him kind of complaining about Obi-Wan not like holding him back. And Padme's she's a very smart human being. She did not, I fully believe that she did not ignore the red flags or didn't see the red flags. I think she saw them, recognized them, but in the moment, at least when he was admitting such a thing that he did to her, the only thing she could do in that moment was to have compassion for him what was she gonna do? Like, oh, I'm gonna report you to the authorities for killing a bunch of Tusken. You know what I mean? And she obviously saw that.
Now take me home.
And I think we forget that, like, this is not an excuse whatsoever of what Anakin did, but she was also like, this is a boy who just lost his mother, which is a very hard thing to go through, to lose a loved one, to lose a parent like that. And I think that she just decided to choose compassion in that moment for him. And I think that she still saw, like, even up to her literal last breath, she said, I know that there's good in him. So I also don't think she was ever trying to fix him. I think she just always had, like, the best hopes for him overall.
Yeah.
Were you gonna say something else?
I was, but then my brain literally just shut off. I had a good point, and now I can't remember what the point was.
I love in the God, what comes right after the Heroes on Both Sides arc, where Padme makes the speech to the Senate and gets them all on her side, and she talks about the Republic, and talks about how the Republic is not without darkness, and just because something has darkness in it doesn't mean you don't care for it, and it doesn't mean you don't love it. And you show it love and you show it light, and you hope that it chooses the light. And it's very clear that towards the end of it, she was just talking about Anakin. He was someone, and that was early on, and he wasn't even near that fork in the road just yet. We also have to remember that Padme didn't watch the movie. Like, if Padme had been there, maybe things would have been different.
Yeah.
But this is a guy confessing something to her in a horrible emotional state. Someone that she's knew as a child and already cares for. She, in my opinion, she made the absolute right choice. Not to mention she's stuck on Tatooine with his family. we get in the middle of a mission.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Thousands of reasons. Anyways.
Wait, I remember my point. Sorry. No, so, like, because, like, he openly admitted that to her, and openly admitted that he trusts her with this really dark thing, and she already can tell that he struggles with opening up about stuff, because, like, how he'll be ranting to her about Obi-Wan, and she knows, like, you don't open up to Obi-Wan, and you chose in this moment to open up to me about something really deep and personal. So, like, obviously I'm gonna show compassion and, like, give you comfort right now, because that's what you need, because you know you messed up, and there's nothing I can say that's gonna try and, like, make it feel better or, like, condemn you. I don't know if that made any sense, but
no, I'm following you. Yeah, and I think I hope some of this comes out in the next E.K. Johnson book, Queen's Hope. But E.K. Johnson was on TikTok talking about how none of the stuff has been ignored, but it's been pushed back. This is something that does have to be addressed, and we will address it. And things just kept happening, and then you get kidnapped, and then people try to kill you, and then you're running across the galaxy, and it's these little conversations that kept getting pushed back and back and back, and they were just kind of running out of time.
I mean,
now I'm trying not to sing "Time Is Running Out" by Muse. Anyways,
I was gonna say the only reason that Padme even admitted her feelings to Anakin is because she literally thought they were about to die, and I think that's, like, the reason that they decided to get married after that was like, oh, we're in a war, we might not make it out of this, so let's just do it, because time's short, life's short.
Awesome, beautiful. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a full-on rant like that, so thank you guys for staying with me. Any more thoughts on this middle section here?
I will say, after reading the Padme books and seeing them actually, like, swimming in the lake or whatever it is, and like what Padme is like telling Anakin that she used to do made me really happy to see.
Yeah, it's adorable. Read Queen's Peril. All right, so we go to the last bit. So while a lot of this is happening, Obi-Wan is hanging awkwardly and rotating slowly in a room, which is not unlike the Thor scene in Ragnarok when he's like, "All right,
Yeah.
And I don't know, I always think about like the scenes in between the scenes. So I always wonder, how long was he just rotating in that room before they had the conversation? 5 hours, 2 days?
Oh God.
He's just
Yeah.
like, does he get dizzy? Does he have to go to the bathroom? I don't. I'm so confused. But anyways, so basically from then on throughout the rest of the movie, what jumps out at you guys?
The way
Just
Duke
the
is playing everyone. Oh no, sorry. You want to
No, no, you go. You go.
No, okay. So after watching Clone Wars and then going back to watch Attack of the Clones, how Dooku's just playing everyone in that entire thing. He's gaslighting the entire Separatists the entire time because they're like, "Where'd this army come from?" He's like, "I don't know. I have no idea where this army came from. It's not like I asked for it myself and knew they were coming." But,
I don't know what that's about.
I don't know. This is news to me. It's so funny.
Yeah, he's playing everyone. He's like, "Hey, Obi-Wan, there's a Sith Lord who's doing stuff," and he's like, "Aren't you a Sith Lord?" Let's not.
Ignore me. I'm not
That's not
talking.
what we're talking about right now. Anyways, yeah, and then he goes to the Separatists and like,
Like, what do we do? There's just all this stuff going on. Okay, what would not that Obi-Wan would have joined him, but what would Dooku have done if Obi-Wan had joined him though?
I'm like, okay.
Okay, cool.
I don't know.
We can do that. Like,
you'd have
would
been
they
like,
got his
"I
chops?
never
Yes,
thought we'd get to
sir.
this point."
I need to leave and go think about my everything again because that's not the answer I was expecting.
Because like, I don't think he would have been able to trust Obi-Wan. Because if I was Obi-Wan, I'd be like,
Yeah.
sure, I'll join you. Let me out of these restraints, bro.
Like,
Yeah.
okay.
What do you think was going? Well, actually, so Jay, you were going to start by saying something. What were we going to
Yeah,
say?
sorry.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna talk about the conversation between Obi-Wan and Count Dooku when Obi-Wan was being held. Like I love that scene.
Yeah.
Like how Dooku was just playing dumb. Like that man's a genius, you know. Like,
I do like that they bring up Qui-Gon though, because they have that kind of like mutual relationship.
Yeah, that's his grand Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's a kind of a psychopath for like playing like that. I wish Qui-Gon was here. He would know what to do.
Do you really wish
not-
Qui-Gon was there?
Not capture me? I don't know. Like you have the
left
power
him.
to do a lot of stuff right now, man.
You left Qui-Gon.
yeah,
What are you
like,
doing? Like,
I rewatched it. I never realized, like, I never caught this, but like once Dooku like goes in the room, he's like, "Oh my gosh, like Obi-Wan, I did not tell him to capture you and like put you like this." Like, what?
I can't believe they would do this.
Yeah.
I'm appalled.
his main power is just gaslighting.
Literally, though.
Yeah, I think I don't. What do you think is going through Django's mind this whole time? Like, I picture he's just going, "I have no idea what's going on.
I have a stalker that won't leave me alone."
I'm just here to protect this dude, but I literally have no idea what's happening. Like, they just clone me, and I don't know. They keep.
Yeah, I don't think he knew anything of what was going on. He was just there.
Yeah.
Good job.
Like, oh
He
wait,
was
that's
just-
the person I was sent to kill. Okay, cool, they're gonna do it for me. Nice. Like,
You were just there to have a good time. Yeah, I'm just a simple man.
making my way in the universe.
I'm just a simple man getting pumped for DNA on a weekly basis. I need a cookie or some apple juice or something. Please. And also, I love feral Boba Fett, just like like he just like
Everyone hates him. I'm like, that's what a 10-year-old child would do in that situation. Are you kidding? Like, he's having the time of his life right now.
yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yep.
We get to throw bombs at this guy. Nice, let's go.
Yeah.
And you know, if you were that little, you'd be like, do the loud bomb, Dad,
Yeah.
do
Do
it,
the thing.
Dad,
Dad.
do it, Dad.
Dad.
And he's
That
like,
was literally
"All
me in The Mandalorian season 2 and Book of Boba
Yeah.
Fett. I was like, do it.
Do the size of
Do it.
charge.
Do the thing. Do the thing.
And Book of Boba Fett, I keep wondering what happens if they didn't turn enough to let it fall.
Oh yeah, would it
You
just
know?
blasted Slave 1?
Yeah.
I guess.
Fennec, you almost killed yourself in Boba.
It's like, yeah, I didn't think about that, but this whole plan is kind of ill-conceived. I feel like we could have done another way to like search it. I don't know. We could have sent in my little droid thing or something. I don't know. Anyhow,
They just shared one brain cell that entire scene. It wasn't functioning.
but one of my favorite scenes in all of Star Wars, though, is Anakin and Padme on their little
Yes.
Roman thing as
That's
they
one of
pass
my
through the
favorite shots in
archway.
the whole saga is those
Me
That
too,
shot's
me too.
beautiful.
The
Yeah.
music swells.
hmm
I know. How do you guys think about that scene, and also the capture of Anakin and Padme as they're running around? I love the cloak and stuff that Padme has in that scene. Like, it's
so cool.
yeah.
Yes.
It's
I also feel
it's
like we
total
don't give
fit.
Padme enough credit for like the badass that she is, because she was like
Yeah.
zipping around those thingies, not getting like hit by them the whole time.
Meanwhile, Anakin was struggling. She was doing fine. Anakin was struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got his arm stuck. I like how I love how he got his arm stuck in the thing, which was like a foreshadow of his arm getting cut off later in the movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, there's a brief moment when his lightsaber gets stuck in his cloak, and it always makes me smile. His lightsaber gets stuck in the hood.
I love when things are realistic like that, and Din Djarin cutting himself with his dark saber. Like, I'm surprised, or burning himself. I don't know how that's never happened before.
I know. I think in Legends, someone actually chopped someone's arm off.
Technically,
I think-
Kanan hit his eyes with his own lightsaber,
I
but
mean,
there was extenuating circumstances. I know, but still. Yeah, but we get to that whole scene in the Coliseum, and like, man, for me, I was like a kid in a candy store. We'd always heard for 1,000 generations, the Jedi Knights or the protectors of God, you know.
yeah.
And like, I fought with your father back in the Clone Wars. And you're like, the hell was
Clone
that?
Wars?
Like, if you're me and you're little, you're like, what is that? What does that mean? And we finally got to see what it meant, all in one scene.
Yeah.
Seeing that many people light up lightsabers and stuff was just like a dream come true, and like, literally, that's what I imagine. And we got one of my favorite Mace Windu, Samuel L. Jackson lines in general. This party's over.
This party's over.
Oh,
I
so
love
good.
it.
That's when you knew it was all going down.
I
It was
love
just-
the behind the scenes shots too when they're filming that whole section, because that's when you hear Samuel L. Jackson ask George Lucas if he can have a purple lightsaber.
Mhm.
He's like, could I, maybe have a purple one? And
So
George
so
Lucas is
so I can find
sure,
myself.
sure, Sam Jackson, whatever you like.
It's his smile after. He was so happy.
He's like, yeah.
Meanwhile,
so
that everyone
happy.
created saber color lore. Nah, it's just assigning colors. People just picked a
Yeah.
color.
He
for
also
it.
has it was engraved, at least the one that he got to keep was engraved
Yeah.
with BMF on the side,
Yep,
Yeah.
which
absolutely.
is awesome.
Yeah, and you, as someone that like, I love the Star Wars lore, but I also love George Lucas because the big things really mattered to him. Little things he didn't care at all about. You know,
It's so
like,
funny.
he's like, what are the rules behind lightsaber colors? Well, it's blue and green for good guys and red for bad guys. I want purple.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
And
You
then they
know,
just threw more colors in later on.
and even green was just because the blue looked too much like the sky in Return of the Jedi, and like you know, they asked her, "Hey, what's Obi-Wan's home planet?" Jon Stewart asked him, and he's like, "Stew John." Like,
Wait,
really?
I never knew that.
Also, wasn't Sifo Dyas a typo? I think it was supposed to be something else, and he typed Sifo instead of whatever he had intended and just
Oh
kept
my god.
it.
Yeah, it was the pronunciation. The pronunciation wasn't Sifo Dyas, it was Sifo Dyas. I don't. It was a different pronunciation, and he's like, "Oh, that sounds cool." Yeah, that's it. That's what I meant all along.
I love the
Calculated
chaos.
plan, etc. But that's how it is. It's a lot of happy accidents. But yeah, I mean, what hit you guys about this whole final battle scene?
I love when they first come out on like the little carriage and Anakin's like, "Well, we had some stuff to do, and then we decided to come rescue you." And he's
Good
like,
job.
"Yeah,
Good job.
you did? How's that working out for you?" I say I quote "good job" all the time. It's like I feel like it's one of those, unless you're like a hardcore Star Wars fan, very obscure movie quotes.
Yeah. No,
And then just that side glare that Anakin gives it. Meanwhile, Padme's over actually being productive and like putting pins in her mouth to get her like so.
They all share 3 brain cells, but Padme owns 2 3/4 of them.
Yup. What about Padme? Padme's on top of the pole already.
Obi-Wan's humor is hilarious. Like she's on top of things because she's literally on top of the pole.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Okay, here we go. It was supposed to be Sifo Dyas, a pseudonym for Sidious. The typo led to the creation of Sifo Dyas.
I was right.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And
I don't know
like
where I
it's
heard it,
but that's how and also you're like, it was supposed to be Sifo Dyas.
Yeah,
That's
Sifo
stupid.
sounds better. I like Sifo better.
And hopefully Jay will be back. Oh, there we go.
My bad. Sorry.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It just always makes me smile. Kit Fisto for the first time when he force pushes and just has that big old grin on his face.
But if you ever want to have fun though, is you watch the background characters. Kit Fisto in the background of every single scene he's in, he'll just stand there with his tummy out, like, and just be like,
like a toddler.
and just staring into space. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Oh my god. We can't go without mentioning the absolute goat, Mr. Jedi Master Coleman Trevor.
Yep. Jedi Master Leroy Jenkins, yeah.
All 3 seconds of screen time. We did see him earlier in the movie. He was walking by in the Jedi Temple.
True.
There was a foreshadow there.
Oh man.
They gave him a dinosaur head and he went extinct. Foreshadowing.
Count Dooku didn't care. He just looked at him. I love that scene so much.
Like, dude, get off my balcony, dude. Like,
and that gave us the iconic like Django spinning his blaster like 8,000 times before putting it away.
Yeah. Well, I love how you bring that up, Jay. The Cohen Trevor jumps up, lands there, and Dooku's like,
just looks at him. Like, what?
how'd you get into my house? Leave.
Like, nice flip.
He just doesn't even flinch. He's just like, come on.
yeah. That's like when you're playing an RPG and you go to a level that you have not leveled enough for this, and you can't even pull aggro because they're like, yeah. And then we get we find out why Django will never be like the head of his family.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to. I was channeling my inner Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's just sitting back making stupid dad jokes. I feel like being force sensitive allows you to just kind of be a himbo because you have this extra thing that can get you out of trouble, so you don't have to worry about certain things, you know. And so like they're about to die. There was a big monster like trying to stab you in the face with its big old thick claws, and then it's like, what about Padme? She's on top of things.
Obi-Wan really do just be like a himbo this entire movie. And then he gets like out of his chains and he's holding this like little metal pole, and you see him like lunge at the guy and like at the big bug thing, and it doesn't do anything.
And he's just like, nah, that's cool.
And
That's
Anakin's
cool.
just being dragged by this monster.
It just makes that scene makes me ask, like, okay, how long ago did Obi-Wan write that line? And he's just waiting for Anakin. Like, he sees her climbing up and he's like, oh, I'm gonna say this. He's gonna cringe so hard. He has like a Rolodex of dad jokes just for any situation.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
We also find out that Nexu know how to perfectly tailor a tasteful midriff shirt.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's a thing.
Totally.
And we get one of my favorite Yoda lines of all time. Around the survivors, a perimeter you must create. And you're like,
Yeah.
knock it off. It's gonna be a real short trip, man.
Oh, I did have a quote from really early on in the movie of Yoda. Because Yoda, I love how sassy he is when Obi-Wan goes to see him about finding Kamino, and he's like, lost a planet, Master Obi-Wan has. How embarrassing. It's so funny to me.
And of course it's one of those things where it's like a mystery that the kids are meant to solve, but it does also paint Obi-Wan as a himbo of like, there's nothing here, but all of the stars are pulled to this place like gravity, as if it were there.
Like he had to have a child answer that for him.
Whoa. Like, I just
Whoa.
like Keanu Reeves like
I mean, he just had Jocasta do just nail him a few minutes before, being like, it does not exist. He's like, well, I guess it doesn't exist, okay.
Alright.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna go leave now.
oh man. And all right, so then we get to okay, one of the greatest things that this movie did though is it ditched the original or sorry, not the original, but it ditched Puppet Yoda from the previous film, because that thing was horrible and cracked
it
out
terrified me.
and nightmare fuel. But
Ugh.
let's talk. I mean, the final fight, which was a series of fights with Dooku. So we get to see Dooku handle his business for the first time. And first of all, Christopher Lee is just a boss. Like,
Oh, he's so good.
For real.
I love him.
the master. He's on the set teaching them like, oh no, when you kill someone with a sword, this is how it goes. And you're
Oh
like,
my god, yeah.
oh Jesus, you've seen some stuff. He's like, yeah. Yeah, how do you guys feel about that final fight?
Amazing.
It's really when Anakin's just humbled a little bit. At that point, he's like, I am full teenager energy. I have like confessed my love to the love of my life. She likes me back. I'm unstoppable. No, you're not.
Yeah, that was rough.
I have
you're
the power
not.
of God and anime at my side.
Nope.
Truly. He was
Let me
just
throw
like,
you against a wall and then slice your arm up. You're dead.
yeah.
One thing I love about Count Dooku is like how unfazed he is, like all the time. Like you notice, like when he was like driving the speeder and like the ships were chasing him, he was just sitting there like he didn't even care. He's like whatever.
This is fine.
Like,
He's literally like that Obi-Wan gif of him just
Yeah.
in the speeder. That was Dooku.
No, but have you seen the headcanon that the clone that falls off the ship with Padme's Rex?
No,
No.
but
That's
I
a
love it.
headcanon. Yeah, it's like my favorite headcanon.
Oh my god.
And just exposure to her just made him extra awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's weird to think that was the first battle any clone had ever been in. So they're like, "Hey guys, you ready?"
Like, yeah. They're all just so attentive. I mean, like, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, I'll go do it, and then they just don't realize how bad it's gonna get later, and then you think about Umbara, and you're like, ugh.
I would love if they ever do a certain point of view book for the prequels. I would love a story from the point of view of a clone, like leaving Kamino for the first time and like on his way to his first battle. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. And then once again, poor Obi-Wan, like, all right, this guy trained my master. He's a badass. So we'll take him slow and to get. Oh, he's gone.
Taking him now.
I'm taking him now.
Ah, damn it. I guess. Yeah, we'll just whatever. And then we get to see Yoda Fight, which blew my freaking socks off the first time I saw him.
Same.
And then I went and I was like, man, wasn't this so cool? And then people at school and stuff, they leaned over to me and they're like, no, Yoda would never fight. That was the worst part of the film. It's stupid. It's so out of character for Yoda to fight with a lightsaber. And I was like, for real? that was literally
you just wanted to be a hermit forever? Like,
yeah. There's no way he would ever fight with a lightsaber. But I don't know, just the way he like reached out and it just slapped into his palm and he started.
Yeah, he's like, I don't even need to pick it up. I'm just gonna like force boom, and then he just like is jumping around and screaming and swirling, and like 9-year-old me was just having a field day watching Yoda just go kick Dooku's butt. Because
I remember the first time
frazzled. Like
I remember the first time I watched it when he like put his cane away and took his lightsaber out and was like jumping around. I was like, was this bitch faking it the whole time?
Does he need the cane?
Like, he didn't need the cane. He didn't need to sit in his little saucer. He could have walked himself.
I don't. So it always made sense to me, mostly because my dad, my dad plays a lot of basketball. You know, so we would go out and play, and we'd go out to the local park, and to be like me, my sister, my dad, and we're playing all these like randos at the park. And then we go home, and then my dad would have to ice his knees for like 5 days.
Yeah.
So it made sense to me that Yoda would be like, "Oh,
Fair
I'm
enough.
getting too old for this. Like, wake me, do not. Sleep I need."
I like that they.
But we get the back to.
I like that they. I like that they incorporated a little bit of Yoda's choreography with Grogu as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Escape Reality Film says, he needs that handicap parking. You see the traffic on Coruscant? But basically, there's always this. There's always like an insurance adjuster following him around trying to snap pictures. It's like, see, he can walk. He go. It's like, there's company.
He's been faking it the whole time for sympathy.
Okay, and so that's the one last scene I have to say I do love is when the troopers all come out and we're in that big billowing smoke and you just have the lights going back and forth, highlighting them as it passes and stuff. And of course they could do it because all of the troopers were CG. But I don't know, that scene always gave me chills. And then of course seeing, you know, the ships, you know, they're clearly precursor to Star Destroyers, and we get our first taste of what is going to happen in the next film. But yeah, what do you guys, I mean, final thoughts to wrap up the entire conversation of the about the film itself?
The whole ending scene where like the crescendo of music, we hear the like Imperial March, and it's just all of the clones, and then it's Palpatine and Bail Organa and all of them watching the clones just go off to war, and you're like, oh, this is like a massive thing. Like, this is big. This is not just a little fight. We're actually going to war here. And then it skips right into Anakin and Padme having their wedding, and then it's like Anakin's little like claw hand thing.
Mhm.
I'm like, here's my skeleton hand. Hopefully, I'm really glad you're marrying me with my little hand here. Like,
There's also a random little
Not to be
like Game of
ableist.
Thrones riff in that I made it like a TikTok. Someone made a TikTok about it a while ago, but like in that scene where they're like all walking up into the ship, like all the clones, you can hear a little da 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 da, and I was like, every time I hear it now, I'm like, wait, well, who is this? What are we watching?
Ramen got it.
Yeah, maybe.
And so this isn't mean to be ableist, but I always like, why don't you guys switch sides? She just hold the other hand. I don't know.
She held
But-
both his hands.
It is. I don't know. I just felt like, but it's truly Padme accepting without any pretense all of them. So I do appreciate it. Also, this led into the Genndy Tartakovsky 2D Clone Wars, which we've recently watched on the server, which are just top notch. So if you haven't seen them, please check them out. But so final thoughts all around. I have Camilla in here saying,
Camilla, oh my gosh.
I
You're
wish we knew
killing
more
me.
about their wedding.
Camilla, shush. You're making it worse.
I love what we get of it from the Revenge of the Sith novelization. How we find out that like they gave each other R2 and 3PO, and
Yeah,
makes my heart hurt.
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then his real gift comes later. He gives her his Padawan braid.
I know.
Oh,
He does that in
I
the 2003 Clone Wars too. She has it in like a little box.
I heard.
And then she takes it. She's like, "The hell am I supposed to do with this?"
It's his hair.
No. Final thoughts on it.
It's just a fun movie. It's a fun ride.
Yeah,
Yeah.
comfort movie.
I
Just a
prefer
milk
it.
pain.
I prefer it over Revenge of the Sith, just because Revenge of the Sith makes me sad,
Yeah.
It's a lot.
and this movie
It is.
mostly makes me happy.
Yeah, I mean, it comes back to that rewatchability you were saying earlier. Like, I can casually watch 2/3 of Revenge of the Sith.
Mhm.
And then you're
but,
invested.
and sad, yeah. All right. So, looking back at this entire film, best Padme outfit. I gotta say, everyone in the chat too.
Gotta
Best
be
Padme outfit in Attack of the Clones.
I say the blue Tatooine outfit when she walked out before Anakin
Mm.
goes to find his mom. I think that was the best outfit.
Yep, that's
The tie between
That's
the
a good
lake
one.
dress and her the backless thing. It's stunning and it's a work of art. And then her white outfit before it got, turned into a tank top. Well, or crop top. Like it was like I liked it. She kept moving it. She had the cute little cape thing. She
Yeah,
looked
the,
good
like,
in it.
Cape poncho thing really made it.
Yeah. And we all know how much we love ponchos in Star Wars.
We do. We truly do. I really like the meadow dress. I love just like all the embroidery on the bodice. And I also really love her wedding dress. And like I wish that we got to see more than like 3 seconds of it.
It's stunning.
Because it's so pretty. And I don't remember what scene it is, but I think it's one of the Tatooine scenes where she's wearing that like really pretty gray cloak with like all the pretty designs on it.
Yeah.
They like sell that now. If you are going on the Galactic Star Cruiser, it's one of the like merch options. They like sell the whole ass cloak, and I just want it. I don't want to have to pay $5,000 for it. But I want the cloak.
nice. Camilla says the one she wears meeting Anakin and Obi-Wan is my favorite.
Oh,
Padme
her senator
of all
outfit.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Senator garb. Escape Reality Film says that the Geonosis outfit, the scarf and everything is so nice. Agreed. Um, Luke Padawan's podcast.
Oh yeah, like
Her
yeah.
morning
Oh,
dress.
yeah, her morning
That
dress,
one's
yeah.
gorgeous. She
It's
looks
much
so,
better-
like, ethereal in it.
That's my
Yeah.
favorite Anakin outfit. Is him standing there.
Yes.
Yeah. It's much better than her like nightgown thing that she wears in Revenge of the Sith because it
Yeah.
seems so uncomfortable to sleep in like all of those pearls.
And like the back of
Yeah.
it, it's stunning, but like it has all this
It's
extra fabric.
so
and like, how do you sleep in
impractical.
that? Like,
Right.
how do you sleep in that pregnant? You can't sleep on your stomach. You have to be on your back or
Exactly.
your side. So, yeah.
Listen, Lucas wasn't thinking about that.
Well, we know.
Lake dress and Geonosis poncho are iconic. We got Star Pilot Padme
Yes.
outfit.
Oh,
yeah. Underrated.
Small glimpse, but it's really good.
Grease Grab, the yellow and gold one. Yep, that's the one that Brooke was mentioning. And Escape Rally also says that one after the nightmare. Awesome. I love it. And nobody said the fireplace dress. Interesting.
I wonder why. Ugh.
I do love that scene too when after he has his nightmare and like there's the shot of him looking out at like the lake
that
or
was a
whatever
beautiful
and it
shot.
mirrors how he's looking out in Empire Strikes Back as Vader, like out into the abyss of space. So
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
shot
so
was
much
beautiful.
life around him and then nothingness.
They also have, I think, Kylo doing that too in The Last Jedi. So,
Yeah.
it's like poetry and all that.
It's poetry.
Also, all right. So, kind of to wrap up, I want to get thoughts on the books. So we have Queen's Hope coming out. So Queen's Hope starts the day of their wedding, and it's a whole adventure, that happens. The tail end of that. Brotherhood, which is it starts with Anakin being knighted and officially
That business
they
on Cato
become.
Nemoidia.
Yep. It doesn't count though. And we also have the Kenobi show that is coming out very soon.
91
I know.
days.
What do you guys think? What do you what got you excited? Also, I didn't even bring it up here, but there's a 5 or 6 issue Obi-Wan comic where
yeah.
I believe each one is like jumps through different periods in his life. So it starts out with him being a little Padawan, but I'm sure we're gonna get some overlap here. Does any of that sound exciting to y'all? What do you guys think?
Hot
Yeah, I just
take.
think it's
I'm
cool we're
most-
getting
oh.
more,
No.
sorry, I was just gonna say I like that we're getting
You're okay.
more prequel content.
Yeah, same.
Like that's like not Clone Wars centered.
Mm-hmm. How about you,
hot
Jay?
take- yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I don't really read the books, so like can't say too much about the books, but I'm hyped for Kenobi. Seeing Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor come back, I'm happy. I'm excited for that.
Nice. All
Okay.
right.
I'm actually more excited for Brotherhood than Kenobi. Which, if you've seen me, I'm very excited for Kenobi. So me saying I'm very excited for Brotherhood is a lot. Because like I just love because what Brooke was saying, it's prequel era. It's not just Clone Wars, it's the
Mhm.
prequel era, and like I really miss that era of Star Wars. And so to get a book that takes place right after Attack of the Clones, before Clone Wars, before you get into that storyline, plus Ventress is gonna be in it. So
Yeah.
if there were one thing to change about Attack of the Clones, they should have kept Ventress in it. That's my one thing.
That would have been good.
Yeah,
Ventress
her-
content is good content.
It-
Let's just
it really-
say it.
it really is. It really is.
Yep. She'll hit you with the wink and the nod, and it's game over.
And then it's game
bro.
over. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Awesome.
haven't fully let myself be excited for Kenobi yet. Because I feel like it's too early for me to get too excited about it. I'm also like, I want to hear more about Bad Batch season 2, because I know we're supposed to
Same.
get that soon too.
Yeah.
There was rumored to get info about it today, and that was clearly wrong. So
Yeah, I know like Star Wars Insider, some sort of insider magazine had originally stated it was coming out spring 2022, which is March, April? I don't know.
Yeah.
St. Pat just needs more Qui-Gon content, which is very true for all of us.
Isn't there an Obi-Wan Padawan novel coming out in this summer?
There is.
Yes.
There's an Obi-Wan Padawan novel that's coming out, and it's all about Obi-Wan back when it's called Padawan, and Obi-Wan is a Padawan, and seemingly kind of questioning his place and going off on an adventure and finding a bunch of other little Force-sensitive kids. And I don't know, it sounds like he's getting peer pressured into some naughty business or whatever. I'm here for it. I'll check it out. But I'll let you know. But yeah, we're about to enter Obi season, and I'm here for it.
Damn.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming out and talking with me about Attack the Clones. It was funny because like I said before, I did do this before, but that was back when I think I had like maybe 10,000 followers at the time. I didn't know who to ask to come on the episode or what I was doing. I don't know, I think that the quality is a lot better, and I had amazing guests. Loved hearing your perspectives. Let's go around the room and say, if there's anything you guys want to plug, if you have any final thoughts about Attack the Clones, any Star Wars, the community, just whatever you got, and also let us know where we can find your content. Once more, we will start with Jay.
Yeah, well, I wanted to thank you for having me. Definitely got me back into Star Wars a lot more, because I wasn't really like into Star Wars as much, but this conversation definitely got me back into it. And you guys can find me on TikTok at J Windu. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you for coming on. How about you, Kels?
Yeah, you can find me on TikTok at Discount Sons of Stark, and also the Queer Ascendancy, my podcast. Basically, read the Star Wars books. They're the best. It's my favorite form of media when it comes to Star Wars. They're so good. So,
I agree with that 100%. If you guys are on the fence, read the Revenge of the Sith novelization and understand how much of a difference hearing someone's inner dialogue makes when you're watching a film.
Mm-hmm. Also read Lost Stars.
Oh. Yeah. Sorry, that was my heart leaping out of my chest for a moment. To explain my relationship with that book, my wife has given me permission to name our son Thane if we ever have one. So,
oh my gosh. Oh.
Last but not least, Brooke.
Oh, well, thanks for having me on. I always love doing these things because it reminds me how awesome the community is. Especially everyone in the chat's cool. I'm very excited for all this Kenobi stuff, especially because it's all happening around Celebration, which hopefully I'll be going to as long as we get ticket information. But yeah, you can find my stuff _BDazzler _ gang, as Element 7 would put it, on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and then B _ Dazzler on Twitch, and Far Far Away Factory on Etsy.
Yes, and soon to be farfarawayfactory.com.
Yes, so I'm hopefully launching my website in March. You can go to it right now and see some of the stuff. You can't buy anything yet, but if you want to check it out, I always love feedback.
Beautiful.
I'm wearing her hat right now.
Yeah.
It's really comfy.
Awesome stuff. Also, apologize for my own bots in the chat, because I put random times on each one, and every now and then they all line up and all come out at the same time. I need to do more math on it. But yeah, also thank you for everyone that's still in the chat here. We have Camilla, we have Escape Reality Films, the St. Pat, Grease Grab, Luke from the Padawans podcast, Normies to Nerds, Ben Skywalker, Element 7, My Dyad, Xanatos. Man, just awesome people. This is an amazing community. Cal for thank you guys for joining me, for hanging out. We appreciate you and everything y'all do, and may the Force be with you.